Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here. It is 5:40. Let's go ahead and start with introductions. To my left, please.
Hi, Araceli Aguilar from Gomez Fragoso and Associates.
Good evening, Chester Gonzalez, attorney.
Good evening, Miguel Patiño with Laboratory Corporation of America.
Luz Marshall, BISD.
Patricia Cavazos, BISD.
David Ramirez, CEO, Brownsville Board of Realtors.
Joe Medrano, small business owner, Brownsville.
Carmen Nordyke, insurance broker.
Luis Larraga, BPUB Communications and Public Relations.
Okay, so we're going to begin with the first thing. Was everyone able to go over the minutes so we can approve that? When ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for last month.
So move to accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
All of those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next item, old business.
Yes, I have a few things. Just wanted to follow up on some of the events that happened during our Public Power Month. We did host our very first Touch a Truck event at the Children's Museum of Brownsville. It was a great event. We attracted more than 840 visitors, and a few participants even got to experience going up on the bucket truck, so that was great. We also had our fall community tour. We had 14 participants. They were all engineering students from Texas Southmost College, and they got to visit the power plant, one of the substations, and they got to see a couple of presentations and demonstrations from BPUB staff.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else with any old business? Okay, so we're going to go on to the next one, new business.
Sure. We did have a check presentation. United States Representative Vicente Gonzalez was here at BPUB on October 28th. He presented more than $2 million for the Resaca Restoration Program. This is part of the community project funding for South Texas, and Resaca Restoration was one of 14 projects to be selected. Also, we had two of our environmental technicians, Mr. Primitivo Garcia Jr. and Mr. Jose Antonio Silva, who were deployed to Laredo to help their efforts when they issued a water boil notice. They detected traces of E. coli in their water and wastewater system, and so two of our employees went out as part of the partnership with the Texas A&M Public Works Response Team and the Texas Division of Emergency Management. So two BPUB employees helped in those efforts.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, lead and copper rule.
Good evening,
Good
Chair,
evening.
PUBCAP members. My name's Ramiro Capistran. I'm the environmental manager, and I'll discuss the lead and copper rule revision. I'm not Jose Lechuga. He's a little bit under the weather. He's here with us, so if we have any questions. So we'll start. We'll look at the background, project purpose, inventory activities. We'll look at our inventory submissions, our website, our map, and what are the next steps for BPUB. So just on the background, the lead and copper, that rule has been around for ever since 90s, 91s. So in 2021, they revised this rule. And the main thing about this revision is they asked public water systems like BPUB to develop an inventory, and also they want to increase public awareness. So that was the whole point behind this revision. So the project purpose again is develop this inventory, but here the important thing is that the EPA, and again this is a federal mandate, they want to look at the utility side as well as our customer side. They're looking from the line after the meter as it goes into the house. Not inside the home, but just from the meter to where it goes into the house. So we had to develop this inventory. We have to look at our systems, and we have to look at our customer system. We can categorize this service lines into several categories. Non-lead, lead, galvanized required replacement, or lead status unknown, which is just, we call it unknown. So that was the whole purpose. So we did develop this inventory, and we did submit it to TCQ. Some of the things we looked at water line replacement records. We looked at service line details dating back from 1973 to 1986. The 86 one is when they banned lead. So pretty much anything before 86, we consider that, we assume that contained lead. Anything after 86, it was lead-free. The other thing we looked at was GIS data, partial data. We looked at ER resources like silo, Redfin, historical area images. So it was a pretty lengthy review. We reviewed close to 13,000 customer service inspections. So we did submit our inventory, and what we found out, our records indicate that out of our whole system, this is including our customers on our side, 69% we can say that it's lead-free, and 31% is unknown. We don't know if it has lead or not. And again, we're just looking at our lines. I do want to emphasize that our water is safe. We've been testing our waters for years and never had an issue with lead. So that's pretty much it. From we call the public the BPB side. So it's like 4.5%, 5% that we don't know, and on the private side it's like 29.5%. We submitted this inventory to TCQ, and it did get accepted. So what are the next steps, right? So now we have this inventory, and we submitted all our results to TCQ. And remember that I said that EPA really want to focus on customer awareness, public awareness. So they're making water drinking systems submit a public notice to all customers with unknowns. So if your home was classified as having an unknown, you're going to receive a letter from us. So this notices, that's the other thing. This notices, we started this year, 2024, and EPA is telling us that we got 3 years to identify all this unknown. So every year, customers are going to be receiving this letter until we identify that service line. So that's the whole purpose about the public notification and education. And we have to make this inventory public. We have to make it online. We did put a website in here. Let's see the link works. So this is our website, and it does have it's in English and Spanish, and it does have information, so that way our customers can go in there and has a picture and what we're trying to do. Right now, again, we did send those notices out to our customers, so we're asking our customers for their help. So if they know what their service line is going to their homes, they can fill out this service line inspection. Sure.
I've got the notices at my office and
Okay.
also at my home.
Yes.
So I think you stated that you wanted to know what the lines inside the home?
No,
or
not
or
just
not?
no from the meter going into your home, not inside the home.
So educate me.
Sir.
How will I know what that line is composed of?
Yeah, most like some of these homes, they're older built. So if you have any, like if you hired a plumber, I bet this homes, we probably had issues with your plumbing. So if you hired a plumber and replaced those lines with PVC or copper, those what we're looking for. Some of these lines is you can see once they go from the ground to your house, usually have like a spigot or whatever, you can see those lines as
So
well.
the point of origin for any customer to determine what materials used to connect the water lines to their home would be by looking at the piping that connects to the, let's say, cutoff valve outside where the
Correct.
water is?
Yes,
Okay. And that will determine whether you have PVC or whether it's copper?
copper, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because I know in our home, we replaced the insides with all PVC a long, long time ago.
yeah.
But
We,
some grandma's living on, you know,
Okay.
different part of town, older part of town, how will that person know to determine the response that you're seeking in your questionnaire?
Mr. Gonzalez, can you speak closer into the microphone, please?
Who said that?
yeah,
Louder? Okay.
yeah, Mr. Gonzalez, to address that, we are gonna be doing inspections. You just have to bear with us because of the volume of calls, the volume of notices, but we'll be going out there to say to a resident that customer says, hey, when I don't feel comfortable determining if it's a copper or a lead line, eventually we'll be going out there to those homes and we'll be doing those inspections for them.
So at some point, you'll be able to determine what the correct answer is
Yes, sir.
by doing on-site inspections?
Yes, correct.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
That works.
I have a question, Mr. Capistran.
Sure.
Is this available for our consumers in Spanish?
Yes,
Online, it's in Spanish as well?
yes,
It is in Spanish, okay.
Mr. Capistrano, I have a question.
yeah.
So, did I hear you say that it was a 3-year project? And if so, what is the expectation? Is it 100% that you would like? I mean, in a perfect world, that's what you would get, but
Yeah.
what is the expectation? When is the cutoff date for folks to respond? Or is the onus then put back on PUB to get 88%, or how is that gonna be?
I think, to answer this question, it got put on PUB, but it requires the whole community as a whole. I mean, we'll do our due diligence, we'll go out there and we'll try our best to go out there and determine those unknowns. To get a fair, like 100%, like you're correct, that's like in a perfect world, but we'll try our best to figure out those.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was going, because will there be, and I'll assume that there will be continued reminders throughout the duration of this, because some people, will scroll through something and know that, on, whether it's on Facebook or an email or a hard copy letter, whatever it might. I received hard copy letter, and I looked at it, and I put it in a stack that said, "Get to it," and so for me, that's get to it. I don't know when, but I will respond to it. But there will be others that will not do their due diligence, and so is that where, when you do not get a response in 6 months, then you would go out to the site, or is that the plan, or?
Yes, what's gonna happen is that if that home is, if that home is determined to be unknown, we have to go out there until we figure out what service line is that notice that you got, say like this year, 2024, and say like November 2025, if we still haven't determined that, you get another letter. And then you
Okay.
get another letter in 2026, and in 2027, that's when we have to determine.
Is it safe to assume also that there will be social media around that letter that would support that?
I'm going to put Luis on the spot, but hopefully we'll get a YouTube video. We're working on something like that.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah, well,
that's
well,
good. I mean, it's
yes.
just something that, repetitive hearing of the same request sometimes is often needed, and I just was wondering where that follow-up would come.
And again, I do want to make a point here, like, we don't want to alarm our community. Again, the water, it is safe. We test our water rigorously. I mean, this is something that the EPA came up with. So just wanted to make sure, right now, I don't know, if my staff and we've been answering calls since Thursday, and community's been very helpful. Say, like, more than 50% as they call in and say, you know what, we know what our service line is, either because they got a plumber, I don't know, a couple years ago, and they have that record. So yeah, so just kind of bear with us. I think that's the whole point, and just want to make sure that the water it is safe to drink.
Thank you, Mr. Capistan.
Yeah, we did put a map as well with our inventory, so probably help me out if I could. So this is our inventory. We made it interactive there. I won't go put an address because I think we're being filmed, but you can put your address there and you can find out where your service line is also at. So if there's any lead lines, it'll be in red, and as you zoom in, you see blue and gray, because again, the blue is non-lead and the gray is unknown. So right now we don't know what those service lines are at.
Excuse me, those unknowns, is there an age group with those homes, or it could be any age?
Remember when I said when we built this inventory?
Right.
So if we didn't find a record, say city or our record, we classified that as unknown. So going on the date yeah, we use that as one of the parameters, but if we didn't have that information, then we just put it unknown. So
Thank you.
so I'm gonna get out of here.
I have a question.
Sure.
If it's determined that they don't have lead pipe, are you gonna change it?
Yes, if that's the other rule. They gave us 3 years for us to identify those unknowns. And then after that, any lines that are classified as lead, they have to be replaced. And EPA is giving water providers 10 years to replace those. Now, for the details, if you're asking me right now, like, hey, is PUB gonna do it, the customer, we still haven't gotten guidance from state or federal officials, but as soon as guidance comes out, for sure, we'll let the public know. So this is our map. This is the notices that went out. Can't see it very well, but yeah, we do have a survey. So if you get that letter, it'll refer to a survey. You want to complete that? That'll be really grateful for our staff. So going back, right? So this is the lead service line. So there's going to be another, or there's another rule out there that's going to be asking us to replace those lines that we have identified with lead. So again, from 2025 to 2027, we got to identify those unknowns, and then they're going to give us 10 years to remove those lead lines. So we're looking until 2037. So it's going to be a while. So it's a long process. And that's pretty much it. I know I answered some of the questions, but if you guys have any more questions, and if you can just let the public know to bear with us, we're getting high volume calls, and we're doing our best.
Thank you, Mr. Capistan.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Home Energy Audit Pilot Program.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the panel. My name is Mirta Vasquez, and I'm the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Coordinator here at Brownsville PUB. What I'll be covering today is the Home Energy Audit Pilot Program. I'll review the program overview, provide our objectives and our goals. I'll cover the process, and lastly, the Home Energy Audit recommendations, and of course, questions at the end. So we're very excited to announce that Brownsville Public Utility Boards will be launching a new Home Energy Audit Pilot Program. It's the first time that we've ever had a program like this, and with the support of executive management, we've been able to put a program together for our customers. A home energy audit is a comprehensive home assessment that empowers the homeowner to understand their energy consumption. So as a coordinator for the department, I've had the opportunity to engage with our customers. We understand that customers are concerned with high energy bills. So with this, we hope that we can paint a whole picture for the customers to have a better understanding of their consumption. Participation is at no cost. The financial responsibility for any of the upgrades are for the customer's responsibility. However, they're not obligated to implement any of the recommendations. We hope that they do. We understand that there is a financial investment, but the key takeaway is for the customers to get a full sense of their usage. Here are the program objectives and our goals. The objective of the program is to promote energy efficiency and conservation by encouraging homeowners to adopt sustainable practices, reduce energy consumption, and in turn lower the utility bill. The goal is to provide homeowners with the knowledge they need to improve energy efficiency in their homes. The audit will highlight the importance of the customer's active involvement in making necessary changes to improve energy efficiency. The audit recommendations will inform customers about our rebates that we have available to help implement any of their efforts. Here's the process overview and what that would look like. The first step, of course, is registration. Customers will be able to go online and submit the registration form or fill out a registration form. Part of the registration is to review our terms and conditions. Here's some examples. A customer must be present at the time of the audit to be able to provide access to the home. The applicant must be the account holder. These are just some of the terms and conditions. Then they will go through the account verification process. We do have to have the customer be an electric customer, a single-family resident home, and then we'll move on to scheduling the appointment once the application is verified. Once we schedule the appointment, the next step would be to do the actual audit, the walkthrough and data collection. The audit duration can approximately take 2 to 4 hours depending on the size of the home. The auditor will then create the detailed audit report. There's an analysis of energy conservation opportunities, and the most important step would be customer implementation of savings measures. Here's what the audit scope looks like. The form you'll see in the orange is the customer's information. So any relevant household information, customer name, address, will also notate the square footage of the home, number of people living in the home. These are all relevant information on customers' consumption. These are the 6 components of the actual audit. We understand HVAC is the highest consumption of our energy bill. So they'll verify the HVAC, they'll verify the insulation in the attic, they'll go through verifying the windows, they'll do a duct test, a blower door test, and they'll notate any additional information such as lighting in the home, or if there's a second refrigerator in their garage, all of that relevant information will be noted. Here are the recommendations. So the auditor will prepare the actual audit report. Then there's going to be the auditor's recommendations. And the most important thing also, we will also provide key terms and definitions. One of the goals is to be able to provide customers the education. So any additional information, such as SEER ratings for the air conditioner or types of insulation, we'll be able to provide to the customers to have a full report. This report will be provided from the auditor to BPUB, and then we'll provide that to the customer. We do have rebates for the key components of the energy audit. So if one of the recommendations is to change out the air conditioner, we have a rebate that's available for that. We have attic insulation, Energy Star windows, solar screen and film, and a duct flow retrofit rebate. But if the customer is not ready to make any of these changes, we ask for the little things that can really add up. Sealing the air leaks in your home is one of the least costly but most effective energy efficiency actions that you can take. Any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead.
You mentioned sealing the air ducts.
They'll do, what the test is they'll verify the ducts. So they'll do a test on the ducts, and they'll be able to provide a recommendation whether they need to be changed or sealed. And so that it would be the customer's responsibility then to change them.
Thank you. I have another question. Will this data be shared with anyone else besides PUB and the customer?
No, we won't not be sharing the data.
I do have a question. What is the cost if a customer wanted an audit in their home?
So we use a third-party rater, and it depends on the size of the home. So it also depends on whether they need to do an HVAC, or sometimes some of the homes have a window unit. So maybe that can take into account how much the cost. But we say $200 to $300.
So, I'm sorry, the customer would have to pay for the audit?
No, I misunderstood maybe your question. If this pilot program is free.
Oh,
but
okay.
if-
I was asking
I'm
how
sorry.
much was it? How much was the cost?
At no
if I
cost.
wanted or anyone wanted an audit?
at no cost to the customer
Okay.
for this pilot program.
Okay.
And when do they start, or where do you sign up for the audit, or?
Yeah, absolutely, great question. So we're finalizing some of the marketing, so we anticipate that we'll be ready hopefully by next week.
Next week, I heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the vegetation management.
Good evening. I'm Eliazar Perez. I'm the electric operations manager. And I'm just going to do a little introduction first. Saul Ramirez is going to do the actual presentation. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of the vegetation management program. The main purpose of the program is to minimize any outages or operations involving vegetation issues. So we hire contractors that perform these tree trimming services for BPUB in order to take care of this vegetation management issues, mainly because BPUB does not have the workforce to take care of those responsibilities. So we have a budget of 1.7 million for this fiscal year. However, we only expect about 800,000 of expenses for the year. The rest will be mainly for any storms that we will have to use the contractors on an hourly basis. Okay. One of the main reasons we have this vegetation management program is to try to avoid any outages. As an example, the Northeast blackout of 2003, which was the second worst widespread outage in the entire world. And so this is very important that we take seriously the issues of vegetation management and try to take care of them as accurate as possible or as soon as possible. The other thing is want to go ahead and let Saul Ramirez take care of the presentation. He's the electric programs coordinator. And we had a presentation that was presented about 6 months ago, but there's been some updates to it. And Saul will talk about the program and the updates. So I'll pass it on to Saul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, my name is Saul Ramirez. I'm the electric programs coordinator here in BPUB. And the outline of this presentation, let me tell you that this part of this presentation is already done to our public, and especially with BISD and the city of Brownsville. So we're going to see objectives of the program, the body of the program, safety issues, our commitment, and our Trade a Tree program. So like Mr. Perez says, the objective of this program is try to eliminate any risk of outages, and obviously to our customers, the risk of an accident. So the vegetation management program was implemented here in BPUB, and is a service that we offer to our customers with no cost. We subcontract a company, and we mainly see issues related on our power lines, the service connected to the customer houses, and the high voltage electric lines. So our new contractor in this year is the company Asplant, and they will be in charge. They have expert people in charge to do the arborist and all the vegetation management. So one of the main issues is, yes, to eliminate the risk, but we need to comply with some standards and practices and actually city ordinances. And the way that this company have to attain these issues is by mechanical means or manual means. It's very impressive how a bucket truck can get to the branches very heights, and the guys are very professional on that. So starting with safety, we try to make conscience with our customers and explain the risk of them do the tree trimming. There's a high risk to try to cut the branches near to the cable wires. So we encourage the people not to do it. We always have someone, we know someone that can do our lawn over, but this is something serious. So we encourage them not to do it and call us. So the safety starts here. Well, actually, this part of the presentation, I explained to our customers and the people that we do this, that we need to identify the trees that we want to plant in our houses and see where they can be planted. If you want to include a palm tree or a pine tree in your landscape, well, you have to think that if you have power lines, you need to do a space on that, because the tree's gonna grow. So we are, there's an association, the Arbor Day Foundation, and they have several programs. One of them is the Tree Line USA. They have the School USA, School Line USA, and City USA. So in that program, we need to get these 5 core standards that we have to comply. So we get together with some of our partners in these programs, like the City of Brownsville and BISD and some other schools, districts, to get this done. So we have this Trade of Tree program in PUB, and this is basically when we identify a tree growing under our power lines, the primary line, the high voltage lines. We talk with our customers if it's in their property. Talk with the customers and trade that tree. If it's feasible to remove it, we remove it and plant it in another place, or we just take it off and give them a small tree so they can plant it in the right place. So we have this commitment with our community, and we got this interaction with them, with our public events, with BASD, with parent meetings, and actually BASD holds the program of forestation that we participate with them with the City of Brownsville. Actually, one of the cores that we have to comply is our employees to be trained. So I have the advantage of our safety meetings, and I do this with our partners. So the most important of this presentation, let me tell you, that is this one. We encourage our customers to call us for any vegetation issue they found. But the good thing here is for all the technical people, they can go directly to our webpage and click on the icon of the trees, and they can generate a service request here. If they can type their address or just go to the map and locate their location here. And it's very simple. We need a name because we need to refer to someone, and a phone number, and that's it. If they have their PUB account on hand, they can put it. If not, there's no problem. The email, same situation. And this is gonna ask if they wanna be notified when the job is done, so they click on this. Once they complete all this, they can submit this order, and it will trigger the process. So this is what how a service request can be generated. Okay, any questions?
Yes, sir, I do have one.
Yes, sir.
trimming of the trees, is it only along the street access, or is it going into the house? Like, you know, some houses have large trees and the wires are going right into the house. You all get into the property? Or
We
is
can
it
go
only on
into the
outside?
houses, yes. Actually, where is it? Here. The main problem that we see or we are getting is actually the trees that we as a customers plant in our properties, and those trees grow enough to get in the power line that goes from the pole to the house. So yes, we do that too. Even though the responsibility of the tree is from the customer, we help to avoid any outages, because that's what we are carrying. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Ramirez. So, if a customer is a PUB customer for water and sewage, but electrical provider, based on where they live, is a different provider, how might, would a request to you for tree trimming?
We
How
we
would that-
receive a lot of those kind of requests. Yes, we call to the company or direct the situation with the company, because any of our customers or whoever, we cannot identify a simple side what kind of cable is the one that's touching with the tree. So most of our customers call us, hey, there's a tree touching the line, and it's a communication line.
Right.
So we send our supervisors, we call them troubleshooters. They go over there and check if it's a BPUB line or whoever a company is, and we direct that call to them. We call the customer and let them know, hey, yes, you have a situation there, but this is the right way to do it. And if it's something that we see that some of the power lines are tied to our poles, if we see that that line is going to represent a problem to our poles, then we take action on that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is public comments.
Howdy, all. My name is Joseph Holman. I am the Vice Chair of the Public Utility Board. And I thought it was important to come by here, first of all, because I've been trying to get by once a year to see what goes on. I think I missed last year. But it's great to see what you guys do. I wanted my daughter, Samantha, to get a chance to see y'all too. And show her how important public service is, and just let you all know we appreciate the sacrifice you guys make doing this. Yeah, you guys get better presentations than we do. I'm just gonna say, I was kind of jealous. But you know, you got some great ones today, and it's important to say, you know, the Resaca Restoration Project has had a lot of headwind against it. There's been a lot of heartache involved with it. This was negotiated well before anybody on the board was on the board or anybody on the city commission was there. And yeah, Marilyn, since she's come in, and her team, yeah, everybody basically here has killed themselves to keep that moving and you know, get some of the concessions, get actual acts of Congress almost completed to keep this project alive and to keep the burden to Brownsville ratepayers at a minimum. So I wanted to emphasize that. You know, the other thing, and again, you guys get better presentations. So the home energy audit is just this amazing effort that the utility's putting in, that executive management's putting in, because not only will it help lower the individual's utility bill, but just quirk of the ERCOT system it will actually help lower everybody's utility bill. The idea that, I don't know if you noticed, I'm sure everybody has, our rates were lower in the past few months. And that is because we didn't have the extreme temperatures and the extreme usage that we had the year before. And that allowed us to get better rates on the ERCOT market because of that. So that was great. And the last thing I want to say, again, better presentations. Like, there's some jealousy. But the last thing I want to say is this last presentation, where we talked about tree trimming. I don't know if you looked at the pictures closely, but it just hit me sitting in the audience. Almost all the houses you saw in the background weren't fancy, nice houses. They were, some of them were fairly run down. And the idea that because we are a public utility, we can sit there and take care of every single one of our customers despite their income level is kind of very powerful. So thank you for letting me babble for a little bit. I just wanted to, again, say thank you very much for everything you guys do.
Samantha, do you want to come up so we can meet you? Come on up.
Luz Marshall.
Nice to meet you. She is adorable. Come over here, sweetie.
I did explain to her that nobody cares about me.
Thank you, Miss Samantha.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so our next meeting's gonna be,
We have one more public comment.
oh, one more comment. I'm sorry, so sorry. Come on up, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is David Cornejo, and I had an account with PUB, I still have, but one of my accounts got closed, and I got a final bill. And on my final bill, I noticed that I was charged for the whole term of my, for example, let's say that I pay from the 1st to the 31st, but I canceled somewhere in the middle of the month, but I still had to pay for the whole month. And the reason that's a problem for me is because I had a tenant who took over my account. So it's not that PUB wasn't getting paid. They were getting paid by my tenant because I canceled my service. Okay, so just to understand what I'm talking about, so I own 706-1 Continental Drive in Brownsville, Texas, and that's at Valley Inn and Country Club. The account number is 550958. That was the one that I closed. I closed it, I believe it was on the 16th. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. It was on the 1st. But on that same day, my tenant took over. Okay, so I continued to pay the charge, but my tenant was also paying for the charge. Now, the reason this works like this, the way it worked out was my service address does not have a water meter. It's non-metered. So when you charge for water, and I believe I pay like $92 a month. Okay, so I believe that I should have stopped paying on the date that I stopped my service. Not only that, but also because I had a tenant take over that same account, or the address, the service address. So I was talking to some people, and but before that, I did speak to customer service. I called customer service, and I spoke to the gentleman who answered. And then he said, "Sir, I can't do anything about it." So I asked for Mr. Eddie Campirano, and I believe he's the customer service manager. I don't know what they call him, what his title is, but I know that he's in charge of that department. And he said, Mr. Cornejo, I can't really do anything about it, I'm sorry. But I hear you, he said. And I said, well, I hear you too. I hear you talking, right? I'm hearing you tell me that you can't do anything about it. So at that particular point, I decided to come before the PUBCAP. And hopefully you guys can hear me also. And so my main concern is that I'm one of 50, I believe 75, or I can't remember the total amount of customers that PUB has, residential customers. I think it's 75,000. And then they have another big number of commercial customers, and I think it's 50,000. I don't have my numbers on me right now, but it's thousands and thousands of customers, right? And I said, well, my reason for being here is like maybe, I don't know, half of $92, like 46. But if it's happening to a lot of people over and over and over again, you know, what this becomes is a legal problem. This is what they call unjust enrichment, because two people are paying for the same bill at the same time.
Is there anybody here from customer service that can, okay, Estrella, to answer Mr. Cornejo, please, or clarify, or?
So we can, my name's Estrella Solorzano, Director of Customer and Support Services. Good evening, everybody. I understand that, just like Mr. Cornejo stated, Mr. Campirano did speak to him. There's some areas that have flat fees. Regarding his account, because it's an individual account, I can speak to him and schedule time to speak to him. Again, my understanding is that Eddie, just like he mentioned, had already explained to him the reason why that's billed as a flat fee. But again, I have Mr. Cornejo's information. I know that Eddie has it as well, and I'll pick it up before it ends, and I'll make sure that we speak with him further. And I'll bring an update during next PUBCAP meeting, if that's okay.
Yes, thank you,
Thank
Estrella,
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Cornejo, for bringing
wait a
this to our
minute.
attention.
I understand the flat fee, I understand that. But when somebody else takes over and starts paying for that bill, and you still tell me, hey, you still have to pay, that's a problem right there. That's a legal problem right there. Okay, and that's why I'm here for, because I'm one of your customers, right? I'm one of your customers. And like I said, there's over possibly 100,000 customers that you all service. And if this is going on over and over again, it's not right. It's just not right. So I'm doing it just not only for me, but for the other customers who do not take the time and they just pay the bill. You know, it's nothing at all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pay my bill. But I believe that something can be done, and something should be done. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing this
Thank
to our
you.
attention, sir. Is there a question? Someone? So, our next, I guess, reunion, Mr. Luis, is our Christmas party, right? Takes the place of our.
Correct. There is
board
no meeting in December, so the next meeting will
is
be January 15th.
So our next meeting will be January 15th. Hope to see everybody at the Christmas party. If there's no further comments or questions, I will entertain a motion to end our meeting.
Seconded?
All of those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. At this time, I will adjourn the meeting. It is 6:24.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.